Welcome to the Coatings Bid Pro beta test demo video. Today we're going to demonstrate how quick we can complete a bid while we give you some background information, and then we'll walk through each step and section. Coatings Bid Pro was designed by coating contractors and coating material and tooling suppliers to provide the industry with a solution to bidding issues such as time management, consistent bidding within your company, dispatching crews correctly, and producing a professional quote and contract for your customers. Coatings Bid Pro allows anyone in your company to bid or quote a job quickly with confidence. We discuss the necessary information needed to customize your product specifics separately. Please note that the products and tooling shown in this video are Savage Patriot products, which can be purchased directly through CD Surface Prep outlet. You will see through this demonstration that the program pre-calculates and summarizes the product costs and quantities needed, the labor costs, cost to maintain equipment, the cost for standard sundries used, the overhead costs, commission for your sales individual, and a margin percent markup. And we're done with the bid. And we can now send this to the customer. But we're going to go back to the home page and we're going to walk through it. To begin, you're going to click on the Coatings Bid Pro icon that will be installed on your desktop. When you open the program for the first time, you will use an authentication key that will be provided to you. You can see that there are two buttons to choose from. The My Company button is only available to those individuals that you provide the password to, and it houses all of the company info and labor rates. We're going to click on the Get Started button, which is going to take you to the customer information section and enter the customer's ID number. Under the product information, you will identify your sales associate and what type of project it is by using the drop-down options. Under the contract information, you will find the area where you type in the customer's information in the designated areas. And if your project location is different than your customer's actual location, you can change that in this section here. A really cool feature is this icon. So if you need to see driving directions or just want to know how far away a potential job is, once you input the address here, you're going to click the icon and it's going to pull up Google driving directions in another screen. So once we've completed this, we can move on to the Calculate bid. This section is designed to be used as a quick tool, as we demonstrated at the beginning, but you can also drill down into each section if you want to review or make changes depending on the complexity of the job you're bidding. We can input all of our information for the bid on this page. The great thing about this software is that there's minimal typing involved, unless the job you're bidding is a bit more complex, but even with that, you only need to complete the light blue areas within the program. Each of these gray buttons will cascade additional details when selected. So we're going to start by entering our square footage in this light blue area, and then move to the right to select our system. If we're doing a standard garage with an epoxy poly coating, we could actually be done with this bid in regards to the pricing portion. Please note the projected floor price only amount. This projection is based on the general starting square foot price you provide, and then the calculations will automatically adjust with square foot changes. And this is useful for standard flake or metallic jobs, but it will not populate with more commercial applications like quartz. So we could click on the Save Document button at the bottom to save the information we've input and move on to the proposal. But as we said, we're going to show you the detail that can be included and modified if needed. So we're going to click on the System 1 button to view the data. And you can see that this section is now expanded. Since the system we chose up here is a quartz system, here's where you would identify the quartz color that the customer has chosen by using the drop-downs. Now, if we're to change the system to a flake system, you're going to see that the quartz option disappears and the flake options populate. We're going to use the drop-downs again to identify the flake color and size that the customer has chosen. And notice how the base tint color needed automatically populates, and our products needed changed as well along with the cost. The next highlight of this program is that you can input the hardness of the customer's concrete in this section, and it will provide you with the Savage Patriot diamond tooling that is needed for you to appropriately grind the concrete to get the correct CSP. This information is automatically populated in the dispatch sheet for your crews. In addition to the hardness of the concrete, you should always check the concrete's moisture content too. We input that number here. Anything less than 4 will keep this area blue and will not add a moisture barrier to the project. However, if we input a 6 here, you can see that this turns red, alerting you to make sure you plan for the extra time you may need for a moisture barrier. The materials needed section is again automatically updated to include your product. So now that we've completed everything here, we can move on. The vertical crack cove section is where you'll include vertical surfaces, joint crack repair, and cove work. So for these sections, you will put in the linear feet, the height in inches, and estimate how long you think this work will take and how many crew members should be assigned. The box below the cove box is red because for cove, you need to enter the cove height to get the correct calculations. So once we select the cove height, the program automatically includes the quantities needed and the cost into the lower section. The labor for this work is calculated separately from the system's labor so that you can adjust it accordingly, including the margins, but it will all be calculated together at the end. And so since we aren't doing any additional work for this example, we can clear out this information. So as we move on, we're going to see the Systems 2 button. And Systems 2 is for situations where maybe you're doing a garage and an outdoor patio at the same residential location, or perhaps you're bidding a commercial job where you would need different systems in different areas of the location. It is identical to System 1 and works the exact same way. The next section is going to be for demo or any miscellaneous work you may need to include. You can see there are drop downs here, but you can type in these sections and include the days, hours, and crew needed. You can also increase or decrease your margin in this section as well, but the program will come with a predetermined margin listed. This is a good place to include extra disposal fees or anything like that you'd like to account for. So the next button is going to be Labor 1, followed by Labor 2. Now these are separated to correlate with the systems you've chosen above. Both sections are auto-populated to show you the expected number of hours, days, and crew size needed based on the system and the square footage chosen for the systems above. So while these are auto-populated, you can adjust these as needed to account for extended driving distance, or if you have new crew members and you want to account for a little extra time to complete the job. The wage rates are provided by you and input on the back end during setup, so you can adjust those when needed and keep the automatic calculations in place. So the next section we're going to look at is designed to make sure you're accounting for equipment usage, sundries, equipment rentals, etc. The owned equipment shows some standard equipment and generic rates, and we have these populated because all equipment should be serviced, and it's important to account for a little bit of that cost within each job that you do, so that when it's time for a service or a repair, you have the money to do so. We've also provided you with an area to include any rental equipment and sundries that will be used. The next button that we're going to look at is the operating summary. And this is where we can include any standard overhead that you're going to need to collect for within each job or within a specific job. So for example, if you needed to procure permits to complete a job, you can include that cost here. And this is also a section where you would input sales commissions for a sales associate or for you as the owner. So now that we've gone through each section, we come to the end of the bid and we see Select Final Summary. And this shows us how much each step will cost with materials, labor, equipment, standard operating costs, etc. And this box is where you can adjust your margins. And what's great is you can see exactly how much you expect to make. And then you can also apply a discount over here if needed. One of the main reasons we created this software is because we hear every day that coatings companies aren't actually sure how much they're making on each job. But with this software, you can break down each aspect of the job, account for contingencies, and make sure you're making money. And finally, you can see your cost per square foot and the customer's price per square foot. But note in this section it populates a great bid or a verify bid. And that's really just to notify you that your actual bid is really close to or different from your projected price. If it says verify bid, don't panic. It's just suggesting that you do a quick check over the bid. It's definitely not saying that your bid is incorrect. And the box here at the very bottom is for any additional notes you may want to include on the proposal. So now that we've completed the bid, we can save the file with a new name. And when you save the file, it's going to be converted to an Excel file so that you can go back later if you need to make changes or reference the bid at another point in time. And we can move on to our proposal or a quote. You have two options here. You can use the automatic proposal, or if you're bidding a job that you really need to tailor the proposal for, you can select the manual proposal. For this demo, we're just going to look at the automatic proposal. So we're going to click that, and now we already have a professional proposal and contract ready to go. Your logo will be displayed on both. All of the job information we input previously has populated here. And all that's left to do is save it as a PDF and email it, which we can do quickly with these buttons. We're just going to click that Save PDF button. The PDF is created, saved to your desktop, and then we click the Email Proposal button, and an email is generated, including the customer's email address, the name, and the proposal quote and the contract attached. The message for the email is even pre-populated, and that can be customized during the setup process. So all we're going to need to do now is hit send. We can utilize this icon link to link up to your scheduling calendar. And if you're purchasing from CD Surface Prep, you can use the Order Products button to create an order for your products. And then we can also use the Dispatch button when it's time to complete a job. The Dispatch Crew page contains all of the customer's location information, materials, quantities needed, and even the Savage Patriot diamond tooling needed. And you can see here that there are pictures of each product to help minimize the chance that your crew grabs the incorrect product or colors when loading up for the day. We could now select the Print Dispatch button and our dispatch sheet prints. We believe that the coatings industry deserves a bidding program beyond generic construction bidding programs available, and that is specific to what we do and the products we use. And so we created one. We know that this will help streamline your bidding process and take off some of the pressure, ensuring that you're profitable with each job that you bid. We really appreciate you joining us today for this demonstration of Coatings Bid Pro software beta launch. Have a blessed day.